Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Harris here, and I am giving you a quick, hopefully 10 to 15-minute presentation webinar on how to create your personal learning network through Twitter. Okay, and I will tell you in how you can get 3 hours for your participation in this webinar. So what is it? What is a PLN, or as what I've been reading, what is a P squared LN? A PLN is a personal or professional learning network, or a P squared LN is, using both words, professional personal learning network. We're using these acronyms, whichever one you want to use, to connect with other people beyond our campus, beyond our district. We want to see who can we connect with from other districts, from other states, from other countries, going global. That's basically what a PLN is. It is different from a PLC because in our PLCs, we are focused on our one department and we're feeding off of just the one department on our campus. PLN is something that you use to branch out. And speaking of that, you're using your PLN to grow professionally. We don't want to think about using a PLN with social media as, okay, this is something where I can just get hours. Okay, we all know that we need to go out and find hours. Okay, that's just something that is part of our job. Okay, we want to go beyond the job. That's what a PLN is. We are growing in our craft. We are growing in our profession. Yes, there are ways to get hours from a PLN, but that's not the main focus. We want to grow in our own field professionally. We want to learn from others. Okay, so we're going to do that through using Twitter. And I know Twitter has gotten this bad rap on our campuses and on other campuses about, oh, we're not sure how to connect with this, but this is the norm. This is where people are going. It's no websites are good resources. Email is almost kind of coming the thing of the past, even though that's what we're using to connect with to each other with. Using social media as far as being an educator is the way to go. So I'm going to show you some examples of how Twitter can be used for good and how Twitter can be used for bad. Okay, so let's take a look at our buddy Mickey Mouse here and his friend Bugs Bunny. This is a way educators should not use Twitter, okay? This is what we think of when we say that we're Twitter, okay? So let's take a look at his profile. We see his name. We kind of see, okay, he doesn't look too professional there. So, okay, so we're going to let that slide, but look at his bio. Ready to hang out at the bars and clubs and party all night long. Okay, that doesn't sound like somebody that I want to connect with on a professional level. And then he has just some link there, some link that's thrown. Look at his conversation between him and his friend Bugs Bunny, okay? He's talking about staying out late, being hungover. He doesn't want to go to work, okay? And then Bugs Bunny's talking about, yeah, I want to figure out a way not to go to work either. And then Mickey Mouse is possibly talking about, hey, you know, a friend bought us tons of drinks. Check out the pic. Do we want to check out that pic on a professional educator's Twitter account? Probably not, because that's linked to something that we don't need to have it linked to. And then towards the end, we're looking at a celebrity who is endorsing what's going on at the club. This is a stereotype of what we think Twitter is. And yes, it is true. We do see that, but we can use it to connect with others professionally. Another way people see Twitter is to make their stance on something. Okay, take a look at my friend Aang and his buddy Magneto. One thing that we see wrong with Magneto, we don't see his face. We want to be able to see your face on an educator's Twitter account. And again, I'm going to explain the difference again in just a second. But in this version of Twitter, this Aang is taking a stance on a topic or religion or whatever political view he may have. That is not what an educator's Twitter account is used for. It is used to connect with others and get resources and help others grow as well as helping yourself grow as well. Okay, this one is doing a lot of bashing, a lot of negativity, and if that's what you're into, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. However, if you're going to have an educational Twitter account, you're going to need to separate yourself from that. You're going to need to have your for fun, social, my political or topic religion stance Twitter account, and then you're gonna have another account for educational purposes, and that's where you're gonna put all of your resources. That's where you're gonna connect with others. Now, I'm also gonna make this clear. There are some educational issues that we are very passionate about, but again, you need to be able to say those in a professional, correct way so you can connect with others and still have that connection, okay? Because other people who you connect with will see this first because you are putting your name on this. And I'm going to show you the proper way in the next slide. So in the next slide, we have our buddies Scrooge McDuck and Mr. Peabody. Take a look at this educator's Twitter account. This is what we want to see. Okay, we're looking at his bio. He's a math and science teacher. He wants to bring science and math together in the classroom, and he has his own website. I'm not saying that you need to have one, but if you want to have something tagged on there, that's perfectly fine. Okay, look at the conversations that Scrooge McDuck and Mr. Peabody are having. Okay, Scrooge McDuck is looking for a website, a type of program to help kids learn math and have fun. Mr. Peabody gives an actual link, Prodigy Game. And yes, this is an actual link. So my math teachers, Miss Manley, I want you to take a look at this. I will talk about it later because I'm going to create actually a big account for the campus, okay? So don't worry about creating one. I'm going to follow up with that with you later. Scrooge McDuck is talking about joining a Twitter chat, and I will talk about that in just a second, called Text EduChat. That is a real site. It's a real link. Mr. Peabody is talking about a great thing that happened in one of a teacher's classrooms. He's going to show a link on how kids collaborated. And then Scrooge McDuck is following up with, hey, check out this thing about classroom management. That's talking about what you talked about, what you're going to talk about in your Twitter chat later on this evening. So this is the dialogue that they're having as far as educators are being concerned. It's positive. You're looking at possibly some good pictures. Look at the pictures that are on the side. They're very positive. There's stuff that's happening within the classroom environment. They're connecting. They're getting resources. The other two, not so much, okay? They're taking their own stance or their own social stance on Twitter, okay? That's not what we want to do. I'm not trying to discourage you to not do that. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But when you're in the professional environment, you need to disconnect yourselves away from that, okay? From 8 to 5 or whenever you want to do your educator PLN, you want to have this type of PLN for your Twitter going. Okay, so basically what do you get out of those 3 slides? The most important message about Twitter and social media: you get out what you put in. You control your network. Okay, that's something that we get confused about a lot. We want to blame the social media for doing all of these things, but if you really stop and think about it, it is just a platform that a couple people decide to come up together with, put it on the computer, and make a lot of money. We as a society, in a nutshell, again, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to take a stance. I'm not really trying to, but we as people, as a society, we are putting in the stuff that we want to put in, and we control what we put in, and then we control others. So if there's something that somebody posts on your account that you don't like, you can unfriend them, you can unfollow them, okay? That's your choice. That you need to let them know that, hey, I'm not following you because I'm not about that on my educator Twitter account. Your social one or your for stance one, perfectly fine, because you're not letting that one go as public, if that makes sense. So how are we going to use Twitter at school when you can't even connect to it? Well, you can on your personal mobile device. Remember I talked about earlier, your personal mobile device is going to be your best friend, your personal assistant. Yes, we do not need to be on our computers or our mobile devices 24/7, but if we're using it constructively, if we're incorporating it into our classroom workflow lives, and admins see that and they look at it, and other people above the admin see that and look at it, they see that, oh, this campus is really doing something with this. Come take a look at what they're doing, because they're making it work and they're coming together as a campus and not being separate in their own little islands. And that's what I'm going to talk about when we come back after our summer break. So, how in the world are you going to get your 3 hours? I talked about the bare bones, or a little bit of what a PLN is and how to use Twitter for education, but there are other things that I would like for you to look at in order to get you started. So, to get your 3 hours credit, you're going to need to create an educator Twitter account, okay? You are also going to need to share your Twitter handle on the Google form. Anything that's a blue is hyperlinked, okay? And I will share that with you. And the Google form looks like this. And this is why you get 3 hours of credit, because it is rather long, okay? And you have a little over a week, a little less than 2 weeks to get it done. And so that's why I'm giving you 3 hours, okay? So you need to follow these people or organizations. You need to follow Aldi. You need to follow Eeckerd at Eeckerd Eagles. Miss Anderson, I'm putting you out there. I'll follow you as long as I have an educator Twitter account. If you know that the one they send you is personal, you just say, no, I need you to have an educator Twitter account. Not that doesn't just go for Miss Anderson, that goes for everybody. You need to follow my group, Mr. Harris' group, at Paperless Guys for the Paperless Pilot. You need to follow at TCCA 2014. You need to also follow me at my educator Twitter account, Professor X1130. And I'm going to check to see if you're following these people. Maybe not answering them right away, but if you're following them, you can send me a screenshot and an email. Send it to my email so I know that these are the people who you're following, okay? You need to also follow a Twitter chat. These are the Twitter chats give you great resources, and they ask a lot of great questions that maybe you don't hear so much on the campus or in the district, and they just give you ideas. Okay, so that's how I'm in blue, and they talk about what a Twitter chat is. Okay, and then I totally recommend that you follow the TX EduChat or Text EduChat, because that is a great EduChat where a lot of discussion is involved. Step 4, you need to participate in the Twitter chat and show me that you're participating by giving me a screenshot and an email, okay? Twitter chats are usually about an hour, so that's why I'm giving you 3 hours credit, because of this webinar, and then the form, and then the Twitter chat. So that's a whole 3 hours total, okay? I want you to also, in step 5, read the excerpt from What Connected Educators Do Differently by Whitaker, Zoll, and I hope I'm pronouncing this guy's last name right, but Casas, okay? You're going to look at the section called The Power of Twitter, and then Growing a P2LN, okay? That's going to help you answer the Google form. Step 6, you're going to read the EduBlog, Building Your PLN. You're going to read steps 1 through 5, 8, and 10. You are not going to do the task, your task section, because that is what you're doing right now. This whole big thing is your task, so don't worry about that. Then you're going to do look at the voice thread comments in step 1 of the EduBlog, and it looks something like this. When you start the first EduBlog, I'm going to scroll back up. Okay, it's going to start off with what the objective is, where you're aiming, what do you learn from this step. Then you're going to look at, read a couple of things. They're real short. Look at a couple of videos. They're about 1 to 2 minutes long. I'm going to pass the Why We Connect. And you're going to look at another video. This is what it typically looks like. And then you'll get to your task, which you do not do. Okay? The voice thread, there's going to be a question on the Google form that asks you, what did you learn from the voice thread? Okay? All you do is take your mouse, and then you click on a person. Okay, some will give you a a written description. Some will give you just audio. It doesn't matter which one you use as long as you respond to it on the Twitter form. So I hope the Google form. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So then on step 7, you're going to post something you learned in this webinar to at Eeckerd Eagles, at Miss Smiley 1313, at Professor X 1130. And then at the end of your post, you're going to put hashtag Eagle New PLN. Okay, again, that's hashtag Eagle New PLN. That's part of a Twitter chat thing. Once you learn about the Twitter chat in blue, they'll talk about how you end it with a hashtag. For example, if we were to go back and look at what Scrooge McDuck did for the Twitter chat, he wrote a post, and then at the end he put hashtag TXEduChat, okay, or TextEduChat. Okay, that link will take you to a feed of specifically that chat. Okay, so when you search for it, that's how you would find it. Hashtag TextEduChat for this example. Okay, so for our example, it would be Eagle New PLN. Okay, so now when you're responding to these people, you need to make sure that it's related to the webinar and the tools provided for you from the webinar and from the resources that I've given you, okay? And make sure that these are positive comments. I don't want to see, oh, I didn't learn anything, this is dumb. I want to see something positive and constructive that you can share. And again, you post it to, in step number 8, the Google form, which is in blue in 8 and in number 2, okay? So again, you'll receive 3-hour credit from this. The form is time sensitive. It ends Friday night, June 5th, okay? I am not gonna open it back up. I'm not gonna extend the time on it, okay? So you have plenty of time to do this form, okay? And a certificate, once you finish everything, will be emailed to you, okay? Now, speaking of the form, again, I know that it is a lot. So to save you time so you're not stuck filling out all the questions on the form, I recommend that you highlight everything, copy, and then paste it onto a Google Doc or to a Word document so you have those questions and you can just type your answers on the Google Doc or the Word document and then paste those answers back into the form. That way you're not married to having to stay on the form. You can always go back to it. So that's why I say that, you know, this will take give you 3-hour credit. Okay, so don't get yourself stuck onto the form for one night, because I don't want to stress you out. Okay. And again, the hashtags to follow are hashtag EagleNewPLN for this webinar. And then the next hashtag I want you to start following is hashtag Eeckerd Learning. And this one is to promote what we're doing as educators on our campus this summer. We want to always promote new things that we're learning, whether you're at the grocery store, whether you're at the beach, and there's something that, oh, this would be great to send out to somebody. This is a great learning thing. Let me put this out there. At the end of your post, put hashtag Eeckerd Learning, even if you're at a professional development, okay? So again, you guys, I know I rushed through this really fast. I'm going to share this slide with you. And again, you can view the video at any time. Again, this form is due Friday by midnight. Okay, so you have plenty of time to get it in. No rush. I just want to see where you're at. And then by the time we come back in the fall, I'm going to talk more about this. Okay, so again, guys, I hope you had a restful break. I hope all of your families are doing well. I'm sending prayers out to all of you, and I will see you soon. Thanks.